All right, guys. I actually got some comic book news. All right. First off, DC has heard our anger and our frustration, and honestly, just our downright contempt with their lack of grandiose when it comes to the Milestone return. I was a while ago on this podcast. We talked about Milestone rolling out, and I had my gripes about the fact that it's only digital releases. I don't think everyone here was happy about
no,
that.
not at all.
Not at all.
So it would appear that we weren't alone in that, and DC is actually now rolling out physical copies as well as releases with the stuff that's coming out in April and June.
This would be one of those rare occasions where a limited release would be a good idea to gauge interest.
Yeah. It's like, but it's like this. On the one hand, yes, that's how I think of it. I think a limited run should be the way to go. But honestly, I'd rather them go all out and like fail if it doesn't succeed as opposed to just like being too timid. Because that's just unfortunately, DC's not alone in this. You got Marvel that does this too. All right, but they always get a little too squeamish and a little too timid when it comes to the releases for some of their black characters. Like, I can't think of one black character from either company that has had a 12-issue book run. Nobody. Not Luke Cage. Not the Falcon. Not Black Lightning, that's for goddamn sure. All right? It's
always been 4 to 6, haven't they?
Yeah, always limited runs, always to 6, for the most part. Hell, what was that one that came out not too long ago? Nighthawk?
Don't forget about Vibe.
Vibe doesn't count. It's not one of ours.
He's close enough.
We'll take what we can get. But yeah, it's always been limited runs. So I would rather them put full speed on the gas, because God knows if they're not putting out these books, they're putting out another 7 Batman stories a year. Yeah. Which, by the way, that's happening. By the way, this year.
Oh yeah,
still rolling out.
It's the year of the Bat.
What are still rolling out
all day, every day.
Every year.
Why would you think that they would not drop another fucking 17 other Bat titles this year?
All right, because last year, 7 wasn't enough. They got to bump it up. So yeah,
add another 10 to that.
Exactly. So I'm really happy about that, about the Milestone getting physical releases as well as digital copies, because kind of alludes to that one thing you guys were talking about earlier with not actually owning a physical copy, and if something were to happen,
it's
gone forever. So if their digital department were to just, there's no more Milestone ever.
You will be forced to turn back to the seas of piracy. Yes. These seas be free.
I will hold out for
They're always somewhere.
I will hold out for as long as I can. But yeah, I'm really happy about that. And that's some good news. What else is happening? I'm sure you guys have heard also about Marvel's multi-million-dollar exclusive deal with Penguin Random Publishing.
That's a big move.
It is a big move.
Explain what it means for Marvel for the people.
Well, that's the rumblings that have not been made clear yet. The smoke is still starting to rise at this point. Nothing's settled yet. All we know is that this deal is happening. It's a fucking mortar shell. I have asked a couple of comic book shops that I frequent, what's that mean for you guys? Like, I've heard everywhere from this is going to raise up prices, of trades to, floppies from anywhere to like, they're $7 already, but they might throw on another $2.
Oh boy.
So making sure for like, cause I feel like I'm like for the listeners and everything, make sure we know like this Penguin is a comic book printing.
Yes,
company.
It's a publishing house. Yes, they print the books out. Okay. They're the middleman between Marvel, DC, and Marvel really, and the comic book shops and whoever's buying these things. But it's not just, this deal doesn't just cover putting out books. It's also direct buy items like the statues and stuff like that. Everything coming out of Marvel, like we're talking all the money, all the merch, all the money.
Oh, okay.
For X amount of years and for a lot of money. It's a really, really, really big move. It's a big fuck you to Diamond, and Marvel wanted to make that pretty fucking clear. It feels like,
Diamond
and
a
they
bad
did.
company
I mean,
or something? Were they a bad company?
They were not the best.
Okay.
The universal feeling
Consensus
towards
of it.
towards Diamond, not really. Nobody really enjoys or enjoyed Diamond.
the good thing I guess the bright side coming out of this deal is that Penguin Random House is I would say when you're talking about publishing houses for any literature work, they're pretty much the gold standard. I mean, any book that you can think of that you've read is probably gone through the desk at Penguin Random House.
Okay.
Anything from textbooks to, I believe, maybe the Bible. They distributed that for a little bit.
Oh yeah, why not? Yeah.
Like I mean,
Seems about right.
they're. I would say, at least to me, I'm not really familiar with many publishing houses, but Random House has always been a staple in anything that I've even picked up. So this, to me, if anything, it just means that they're gonna have a bigger outreach, probably.
Probably.
More shelf space in different types of stores, which could be a good thing for comic books in general. Maybe not such a good thing for comic book shops.
Yeah, comic book shops, they seem like they're either going to have to pay more, they're going to do their packaging different.
Yeah.
They haven't stopped struggling, man.
Yeah, no. And
Because-
now they're getting hit with this too. It's
Yeah.
like,
Because when you're able to just find issues on a Walmart shelf, as opposed to having to go to a comic book shop, Walmart's probably going to get a better deal because they're going to be able to buy in bulk.
yeah.
As opposed to a singular comic book shop that's
Right,
going to have
that
to...
only has to order a couple things.
But then you got
getting
little sticky kid fingers everywhere.
There's sticky kid fingers everywhere.
But the thing is that they can Walmart can absorb the loss, right? Because once they pay for it, it's done. Like they don't care what happens to it. They don't care. Their inventory could be on fire.
It goes into the depths of their inventory. Like they literally sell everything, and they just want to get that little bit of that market,
right?
Just a little bit.
Now, comic book shopping, on the other hand, they live and die by this stuff. So
yeah.
it's like I still don't know what the fallout is of it yet. I'm getting very mixed reviews, but I'll continue to
cover it.
To cover that and see how this is going to affect shops, and very well likely how it's going to affect me because I mean I spend a decent amount of money on comics monthly, man.
Better turn to Amazon, nigga.
Never. I would rather die.
Pay Bezos some more money.
I would rather die.
You're going to die there anyway.
I know. No, I'm sorry. I'm not one of the underlings, okay?
Oh, not the ones that the commercial's based off?
Yeah, I don't do the heart labor, okay?
I'm sorry, Your Highness.
Yeah, just don't let it happen again.
You're out there beating all the people that are trying to unionize.
I'm the one. I'm the one going, guys, we don't need it, okay? We're a family.
I can't even say that shit on the street.
Now we got these little $2 bonus. All right, you want that to go away? All right,
you want that to go away?
You want that to go away?
What about the pizza party? Don't you have like
guys pizza parties? What about all the good times? All right.
And Kevin, you stole that dildo. We got you on camera.
Yeah, we got you on camera. That's bad.
and you were walking weird for the rest of the week.
The other thing that's going on is okay. So we covered
the penguin.
Covered the penguin press. We covered.
If only we had something to write down and mark off.
Hey,
news stories.
Hey, shut up. All right.
Oh no.
No, I do have my notes. I have it right here. All right, and now I get it. Oh yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, it's called professionalism.
This is the thing. All right, I just wanted to make sure I didn't lose this because this is important. All right. A couple of days back, Darcy Van Poltergeist made a very interesting post on Instagram with a picture drawn by Ian Bertram.
So who posted that?
Darcy Van Poltergeist.
That sounds like a vampire.
It does.
It is a vampire.
Darcy is a vampire and an angel.
Shut up. So yeah.
Oh no, that's Priscilla. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. He made this post with some artwork drawn by Ian Bertram, and if you're not familiar with those two names, last year they came out with a book called Little Bird, and it was absolutely fucking incredible. Great. And the drop that he put on Instagram was about a prelude series that's coming out to Little Bird called Precious Metal.
Oh. Oh.
And the artwork looks typical Ian Bertram fashion. It looks creepy, cool, weird. It looks good. So yeah, he said that it is coming out this year, but they're taking the absolute time to put all the extra love and attention to flesh out the story, to make the world deeper, and to add all that mythos that you guys loved about Little Bird in this series. So they're taking their time with it, but it is going to drop this year.
Universe expansions.
Man,
like, okay, is it going to be in the same air?
It's the same universe.
It's the same universe. Do you know of anything that maybe it's going to be about her mom?
I don't know if it's going to be about her. I don't know if it's going to be about any of the characters that we were running with.
Okay.
But it might be the world before it got... My take is that it might be the world before it got that bad. Super, Christian-y and all taking over and all that stuff. But yeah, Precious Metal, I'm very much looking forward to it. Looks really, really fucking cool. And I can't wait, man. I love seeing those guys together. And if they're really putting the love and attention into it, like, I know it's going to be good. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, super excited about that. Yay. And that's all my comic book news.
Yeah.
It's time for comic book reviews.
Yay. Yay.
All right, guys. I am going to start out with Milestone Returns #0. Depending on which version you guys read.
Yeah. There's 2 versions, and I had to read both of them because halfway through I was like, wait, this isn't complete. Because it's fucking online, and I don't know what happened. Yeah. But either way, it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice little, entry point into all the characters we're going to be getting a rollout for. I mean, some of the setups were a little fast.
Junky.
Right, I want to say this right now before I forget. I am not a fan of Static's origin powers, how he got it at a Black Lives Matter protest.
Hey.
Yeah, that ain't. I don't know
what chemicals are in this tear gas that made all these kids at a high school get superpowers.
That was a little like.
I thought that was a little on the nose, a little too much,
And there was a lot of that in like. There was a lot of that in those stories, like the 2 people that can join together. Like I know they're gonna go into it in their story, but they didn't do a good job of like grasping me of like, oh, I want to learn more about this. It was
they just kind of touch and go.
Shit.
It was very okay, and
not much context to a lot of it.
Not a lot, and it's like this is what happens when you've been gone for like decades. You're trying to. I definitely felt the need that they wanted to make these characters relevant, but I hope it's less of like that because the next thing you could have saw, I'm surprised someone didn't get shot by a cop, but the bullet was made out of some kind of like compound,
radioactive, experimental.
I'm like, oh my goodness! Like,
well, at least they didn't go full Black Lightning and do like a Brianna Taylor fucking.
I didn't see that episode.
Wasn't that season 3
or whatever it was? Yeah. I saw that scene online. And that was out of control. So at least they didn't go that far.
That whole show is out of control. I'm not gonna lie, I had to stop watching. But yeah,
next thing you know, you're some kid with a bag of Skittles walking down, and then he's gonna get tackled into another dimension.
Like I can understand.
That's how we get superpowers. He becomes a Skittle guy.
Yeah.
It was definitely way too on the nose. They didn't have to go that like. I get they were trying to be relevant to what's going on and stuff, but it's just. It could have been done a lot better. Instead of just like, oh, all right, he's at a Black Lives Matter protest
because of course,
and like I didn't because at first I honestly I kind of thought I was in like a weird like fever dream when I saw that happen. When I saw that they started to transport from the tear gas, like, what the fuck is going on? They experimental tear gas. You don't have to change the formula of tear gas.
Right. This shit may give them powers, but let's use it anyway.
Yeah. Or we're trying to make them melt and stuff. It was supposed to be non-lethal force. Like, why?
I mean, obviously, it's not. It was lethal, of course. They're gonna bring
tear gas is supposed to be non-lethal. It's just to make people disperse. But how did they get experimental tear gas?
What is the point of experimental tear gas? Yeah, what was the experiment that they were running?
I don't know.
To make people cry more? I don't know.
We have to buy the book to learn that somebody was behind this the entire time.
Well, they knew these kids. They showed who was behind it. Yeah. Then he
turned himself.
Then they were like, he was like, they're gonna come after me because I approved this. Which, by the way, he was black himself.
Yeah.
So like that whole thing was kind of confusing.
Yeah, I mean, okay, to put a little context on this book for everybody. This book was released a year ago. Like this came out almost 2 years ago. Whenever that, if you guys remember, whenever that DC fandom event was,
Yeah,
where they released all the trailers.
Yeah.
This was originally released there because
Was that the physical copy that they gave to everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
It was supposed to come because Milestone was supposed to roll out last year.
So that's why there's two of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense now. I understand now.
Yeah. So they're working off old material and they try to patch it with newer material. Either way, the vibe is they're trying to modernize their superheroes. It's not quite as smooth as I would like it to be.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, the ball is rolling now. So, I guess we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm happy to finally get okay, we got the hard part, the opening and everything, and at least they're able to establish some characters and stuff. Something is going on a little bit.
Something's definitely happening.
Something's definitely happening.
They're trying to set up a universe, but it feels sloppy.
It gave me DC vibes in the movies. Like they kept trying to throw all right. I'm surprised they didn't just follow Static and maybe introduce Icon in them later on, or maybe in passing, or give them old.
It's like
book.
we got a comic book filled with concept and not finished ideas.
Yeah.
I would really like if they had done this thing because Milestone is one universe. They're all together. This is just the way I would have wrote it. I would have it where the characters would interweave and run into each other throughout their stories, just to put it all together, as opposed to having them all separate and disjointed. Because the way they put it, don't get me wrong, introducing everyone in their own little solo 8-page
little bubble,
whatever, that's cool and all, but when it comes out as disjointed as this, you might as well have just threaded them all together. At least have that interconnectivity.
Yeah,
and there were some bright spots though. There were definitely bright spots. The one I really liked was the actual the Rocket and Icon kind of the way that they wrote that all. They were looking over everything that's happening. They're kind of getting a little It reminded me a lot of the Infinite Crisis or the Infinite Frontier. Diana kind of stepping in and looking into that. But I don't know. It was neither of them. If I can say, neither of them felt fluid to me. And I think that is a problem with me. That I like the concept. I like the idea of them kind of introducing this in spurts, but neither Infinite Frontier nor this felt fluid, or it just felt forced.
A little disjointed.
To me, it felt like they were just going full speed ahead, and it didn't. It's a little rougher around the edges than I would prefer for their first official step back into the world.
Because you're being introduced to everybody, but then you're kind of just look at this, look at that, look at this over here.
Why did they jump right into Congress? How long has this been going on that Rocket and Icon were on the Congress floor talking about stuff?
You know what? I kind of like that because it's kind of I like that because it kind of just showed that they were we're just gonna. This is some of the thing. I like some of the parts where they're just rolling into and look. We know what this is. We just need to get caught up and we need to just get the ball rolling. But then some of that also felt jarring. So there's a fine line that you kind of have to fit in when you're trying to do something like that.
Right. Yeah. I'm already semi invested. I'm gonna see what everyone how everyone does in their first official outing. With their number ones.
Yeah.
But really for everybody, when you're putting together people like this in a little 8-pager, here's my story, here's my story, here's my story. Those rarely do well. Sometimes they do, but so I'm just gonna chalk it up to not enough time to really dice up everybody in a consistent way that flows better.
Yeah.
And just hope that we're gonna see better stuff as the months keep rolling out for Milestone, because
hope for the best.
I look forward to every release they have.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I take it for what it is. Just a preview. It's one of those demo discs that they send you back in the day. And
rough start, but I'm still with it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still here for it. So.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same.
I think at this point we have no choice but to be here for it.
Yeah,
We're all hopeful. We're all hopeful.
because if we don't, it's gonna go away again.
I know. Then we're gonna be playing like, why?
Yeah.
Where's the Milestone?
Well, we tried.
They should take 3 characters maximum and kind of focus on that.
I agree.
They kind of do. I just think of it like they also went and tried to introduce villains, maybe.
Yeah.
Like they kind of got a lot more screen time that I felt like, oh, is this gonna be what's going on here? Then it took away from the actual like main characters.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it feels like every like black superhero like universe like these on the DC side.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like there's always like a fight for the streets. Like, we gotta take it over.
It's always so
ours.
urban.
It's all
urban.
What else are we fighting for? The world? Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, I can't shake that.
It's more
lightning
relatable.
vibe, I guess.
You relate.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you?
Yeah, I guess.
You black.
I guess I have to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. That's how they. I mean,
that Champions book kind of gave me the same feeling.
Yeah, I mean, but like, of course, their scale is smaller. They're teenagers.
So are the characters in.
I was gonna say Static Shock is a fucking teenager.
Static Shock's a teenager. Rocket's a teenager.
But Icon is
An alien
Superman.
out of his element who
Supposed
has
to
no
be.
social skills.
he does.
yes, he's supposed to be like the Superman character.
You mean to tell me that little girl bumped into him and the first reaction he had was to turn back into an alien?
Oh yeah, that happened.
It was weird, wasn't it?
What? Where did she get her powers?
Jarring.
Very. What?
Where did she get her powers? Does she always have powers?
Again, jarring.
That's a good question.
They
I
don't
was
say.
like, maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm just stupid.
See,
So
and the problem I had with this entire thing is that if they would have spent half the time that they spent on Static Shock and divided that within the other stories to kind of flesh them out a little bit more, to kind of give us a little bit more. No, they spent a shit ton of time with Static Shock. And to me, it felt like most of the Static Shock was just a roundabout bully.
Yep.
Roundabout bully thing that we saw 3 to 4 to 6 to 12 different times.
He's Black Spider-Man.
Pretty much.
With
And
fucking...
I'm not a fan of his braids.
With Static Shock.
Which version? There's so many versions. I get his hairstyle. You can change your hairstyle, but
His orange and new black braids. Not a fan of.
Honestly, it felt like the Static Shock stuff was really.
But it's
like
not for you.
It was really like
You're not the youth.
Yeah.
I rock
Old
braids.
head.
They look better than that.
How many times? Yeah, that Josh's wedding. Looking good. All right, that's it. But let's just hope for better in the future.
Yep.
Moving on. Harley Quinn #1. The Infinite Frontier #1 for Harley Quinn.
God damn it! It was fun.
You know what? I really, really, really hate how much I like.
Believe me, I felt the exact same way. When
Shut up, you.
I felt the exact same way when we first watched the fucking Harley Quinn show. I'm like, what the? This has no business.
How dare
no
you make me like
business.
this? How dare you make a good product?
Fuck you.
I said this a lot, like even before we made the pod, and this is an opinion that I have, but one of DC's problems to me was that I really, really, really wish they would let like less known, more expressionistic artists do some of their title flagship characters instead of always picking the
Hyper realistic.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong.
It's pretty to look at, but then they start to lack character.
Yeah, it's just like, gotta make sure he's got a tight bod. Gotta make sure the shadowing is absolutely insane. Gotta make sure all their clothes look like it sticks to their face.
That's what really put me off of like Walking Dead. Like Walking Dead at first had this very stylized. It's the same art style that they went over to Telltale. That's where they inspired their art from, like the first couple of volumes, and then they went to this hyper realistic, very very dark. But no one has expression besides being angry. That's the only expression. The angry face.
Yeah, the art was the first thing that called out to me in this Harley Quinn book because I saw it.
Hello, feeties. Hello, feeties.
I was a little thrown off at first. I didn't know if I liked the redesign, and then as the book went on, and more as I saw the kind of direction they were going with the book, I was like, this fits perfect.
Yeah, with stuff like that. Okay, this artist in particular, God, I hate that I don't remember his name, but he did a really really awesome Martian Manhunter book in 2019. That was an awesome book. So that's why when I got the book, I was like, do I know who this is? So yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed his art on there and his art on Harley Quinn. I didn't know if I liked it until I saw Batman.
I agree with
I
that.
like
Yeah.
he look like a caveman.
Yeah, super hunched down. Right?
His protruding jaw.
It gave me like a, what was that Batman show, The Batman, that had like Joker with the dreadlocks.
Yeah.
It gave me that essence of like animation, the way that he like moved and portrayed and really tucked in, and it was just a silhouette of Batman, and I really liked that.
Me too. I really like when they give these people who clearly they can draw Batman. It's just that sometimes the DC or Marvel aren't looking for, well, more so DC, isn't looking for those more, expressionistic type guys. They're looking for the standard cutout. And don't get me wrong, I love, Three Jokers, the art in there.
Yeah.
That dude, there's a place for all that.
Riley Russo.
Yeah, but Riley Russo?
Rusmo.
Yeah,
Or
Riley
Rossmo.
Rossmo. Riley Rossmo. Seeing Riley Rossmo draw, the first thing I looked over, I saw, I was like, yeah, you doing this while we're recording?
Anime titties.
You doing anime titties while we're recording?
Hey man, research
I can't
requires
help what pops
vulgarity.
up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help what pops up, all right? I'm trying to help you out. Get out of here.
And I appreciate it. But yeah, Riley Rossmo, like, watching him, it's like, I want to see the medium. Like, he draws a decent Harley Quinn. I like it. And it's like, let's see what he does with somebody else. And luckily they showed me, and then seeing the Batman, this part that got me was when he was leaving when he shot the little thing out the window, and then the next panel was just him like flying out of the window with no emotion. I really love all that.
I really like. I like the back and forth that they were having.
Oh yeah, me too.
And then when the Joker ex-Joker goon was like, well, that went well. She's like, he loves me. He's like, that's not what it sounded like.
Like,
you don't fucking know us.
Yeah.
Like when people see animosity, I just see, oh, I love you, Harley Quinn. You can do this. I love it. I love her voice, like what she thinks Batman's always constantly saying to her.
I just love the energy of the book from how they kind of allude to the fact that she still has her old self playing in her head, to even just the idea of what she's
to it too.
Yeah,
it was a great just setup of a new Harley Quinn story with a it's pretty much just a backstory of her trying to find herself after a hard breakup. I mean, this may be one of the most relatable Harley Quinn books that I've read.
Yeah.
I can hear some type of hardcore Harley Quinn fans. You haven't been reading her.
You just don't know. You ruined her. Yeah, but for me, this is a refreshing take for Harley Quinn. Not a lot of really stupid costumes. No Suicide Squad. Just
I like the shot that they were like when she was it this or was it the future state, where it's like you tried to. They give all her like names, and then they're like Daddy's Little Monster. You try to trademark that, and that didn't stick. I thought that was a little nice job, because I after reading this book, I went to go read the Future State, because this is supposed to be like the build up to what the Future State is going to pretty much be the ultimatum of. Maybe, possibly.
The magistrate's happening.
I couldn't fucking make it through them again. I couldn't make it through them. There's something about
Catwoman. I just couldn't do.
There's something about the Future State Harley Quinns that I was like, well, I like the first issue so much, I'm gonna go back and see what the future is. I can do it. I hope they keep this
NyQuil on paper.
Going. Yeah. Oh, it was something on paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something on paper.
I just couldn't focus. I couldn't keep up with it. It is what it is.
But yeah, we're all in agreement. Harley Quinn #1, definitely a really. I like her mission. I like the art. I like the energy. I hope I keep liking it.
And to piggyback off of that real quick, I also read Batman 106, which is like the continuation of the Joker War Fallout and all that. And this is going to be pretty much what sets up the Dark Detective that we saw in Future State. They're kind of feeding into that, and they're kind of blending in the Harley Quinn and Batman stories kind of together, because she makes an appearance on there where he does take off running and all this, and she like takes off after him and is trying to help, but she doesn't have the gadgets, so she shows up like late, and she's like, fuck, I missed them, they already took care of it, which I thought was kind of a really cool thing once I finished reading both of the books. The way that they're kind of interplaying within each other to make it like a continuous kind of universe. I thought was pretty good and smart. I enjoyed the Harley Quinn a little bit more than the Batman, but they were both fun books.
Cool.
And I'm excited to see what they're going to do with the future.
Oh yeah, me too. The Infinite Frontier.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys have to say the name at least 5 other times. All right. All right, what we got next? We've got, I'm going to go with Shadow Doctor, number 2.
Whew.
Man,
I liked it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'm really feeling it. I don't know if this is actually based off of a true story.
I was gonna say, is this true? They told me it's true.
If it's true, I'm here for it.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, it's a story of a black doctor can't get hired by a by a reputable hospital anywhere, so he turns to the mafia,
the mob that he was previously working for because he was a driver for them.
Yeah,
and he had some friends, so he's like, okay, I'm desperate, and desperate people do desperate things. So,
So we get to issue 2, and he's now in deeper, and I feel like at this point for this character, there is no kind of getting out of it. Like, he's in there, you know.
That was the pacing in this book is so good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see myself as a old timey piece like.
I love mob stories. I love them to death.
Wow.
See, I was a little iffy because when you put this on the list, I hadn't heard of it, so I had to go back and read number 1 and number 2, and I was really surprised by the story. I wasn't expecting the story at all. I wasn't expected to include the familiar faces that everybody knows from American folklore be kind of interweaved in this, and the way that they were interweaved.
Right.
I had a lot of fun reading this book.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, the pacing was fucking really well done.
Even though there were parts with a lot of dialogue, you didn't feel like you were overwhelmed, and you were always ready to kind of dive in and read more.
Yeah.
You were always curious. They never kind of put you in a dry spot. You're like, I'm kind of bored here.
They had just the right amount of exposition, and they had just the right amount of kind of like background. When they would go back and like show you like flashbacks and shit, they were never jarring, and they always felt
they weren't too long. They weren't too long. It was boom. Here it is. It's all you need.
This is all you need, and it comes at the right time and for just long enough.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and like I said, it came out of nowhere. I saw this cover actually stood out to me a lot. The first cover didn't, although looking back on it, I like the first cover, but I like this one a lot better.
Yeah.
So I just had to.
That is a fantastic cover.
Absolutely, I completely agree, and I really got drawn into it by that time. So I'm really glad I picked it up. It's a really, really, really decent series.
Yeah, like I honestly did not expect to like this so much, and I come from the camp. I don't really like down to earth stuff. Like it needs to have something fantastical and everything to keep my interest. Or that. I mean, hell, helps. It keeps my attention, don't it? So when I read this and everything, I'm like, okay. At first, I was like, okay, what's the deal? What's going on? But then I got more engrossed, and I just love this character, and I love his struggle because it's something. Especially the fact that I'm reading about these, like I'm in history class right now, and I can see all the parallels, like between the Great Depression and stuff like that. All the stuff I'm learning about, he's living it. He's in the depths in it. I mean, in the trenches of the Depression, and how like he's down his luck just like everyone else.
It's a good story about a time that we've read and studied over and over with the Bonnie and Clydes and the Scarfaces.
But we're actually getting like a perspective on it.
From like, I like it because it's a perspective from somebody that's just kind of just swept up in it without wanting to be in it.
Right. Yeah.
And it also deals with social commentary.
Yeah.
The whole history lesson of it. It's
I don't know. I don't know if it's a time period, but it doesn't feel a heavy-handed social commentary.
No,
it feels natural.
Yeah.
That's always the best kind.
This really shows you who's the writer. Do you know?
The writer is
Peter Calloway, I want to say.
Yes, Peter Calloway.
Who is supposedly the main character's grandson.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
He absolutely, not only I'm sure he got the story mostly from his grandfather or whoever the story.
Right.
Yeah. But he definitely did his research on the people of the day, how they act, how they would act towards a black man trying to be a doctor around this time. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't heavy-handed, because when we think of that time and people being racist at that time, we all may think like they're obviously people are just saying nigger constantly and stuff like that. Straight to the N-word stuff. But it wasn't that all the time.
It was a lot more subtle. It was a lot more systematic. the way that they presented it.
Yeah, you knew they were being racist, but they weren't being like openly out. Yeah,
that's nothing personal, buddy. Nothing personal, buddy.
Nothing personal.
That was one of my favorite parts of the book, where it's like it was the same. It's not personal,
and I love
the personal. It's business.
I love the paneling, like him actually going down deeper and deeper into this hole of defeat.
The physical manifestation that he showed in his body after every panel was.
Mm-hmm. I like the conversation with the mob boss and his mom. And she's like, "Well, he looked like your father did. You know, like he was one shot away from jumping off the edge. Like, he just needed a shot. That's all he needed. He needed an opportunity."
Yeah, real deep cuts in this book. I came out of nowhere. Aftershock with another hit. I would highly recommend checking this one out.
Aftershock is just killing it.
Dude.
Aftershock and Image. Aftershock and Image have been fucking just plowing through the last year.
Told you these books coming out of these other publishing companies you have more entertainment and more substance from them than you are having from the fast food Marvel and DC.
And I think it's because
I disagree.
I think it's because we're getting a lot of like different viewpoints and different stories that
more flavors.
Marvel and DC would not have the balls to take up.
Not whatsoever.
There's no way that
especially
they would
DC.
Put this up there.
Batman.
And the also thing that I like is that this has a finality to it. These stories have a finality to it, at least for the most part.
Closure.
Right.
They have closure and they have a structure of this is what it's going to be. So they pace it out better to me.
Right. So they know where they're going. They have a definite start. You can sense that they have a definite end.
Yeah, which I think helps them a lot. Which you can tell even from picking up the first issue before I even got to the second one. Like there was this sense of this is a story. Like they let you know from the beginning this is a true story. So you right away kind of get a sense of the pacing that they're going to keep, and they follow through with it in issue 2. And I hope that it feels like they know what they're doing. They're going to follow it through with it for the remaining 4 issues, which I hope this is no longer than the 6th. Because it would just feel drawn out afterwards.
Right. They usually do like a 6. I feel like they can wrap this up in 6.
Yeah, and it would be a beautiful 6.
I agree. So far, they're on track.
Yeah.
So
keep up that fire.
Yeah.
Please.
Speaking of the big 2, fast food.
And speaking of the fire, because I already see that back there.
Oh, that's last.
Oh. No, I'm talking about the big 2.
Oh,
that fire.
Oh, Beta Ray Bill.
Beta Ray Bill. Number 1.
Don't pick on my boy, my horse boy.
Yeah, that Beta really does.
Hey,
it really does shine in this book.
They
poor Bill, bro. Poor Bill.
But the thing is, he's not a beta, but he's getting cut.
He is now.
He just keeps getting cut. It's not his fault.
Listen,
can't get hard no more.
No Beta is at fault.
No, not at all. So, Beta Ray Bill, number 1, Daniel Warren Johnson, Mike Spicer. The team is back together for another fucking 5-issue run on the character that is known.
And
maybe
loved.
Wonder Woman for sure, but
Beta Ray Bill fans, they out there and they're ready to fight.
Yeah.
Clearly, I mean, Daniel Warren Johnson fought really hard to want to do this book. He's been talking about doing a Beta Ray Bill book for a long time.
And he showed his ass off in the first issue.
Sure did.
It's coming off of the heels or I guess the toes of the King in Black.
Yeah.
Kind of
arc, which we haven't talked about very much, but it's
not finished yet. Is it?
It's not finished yet, but they my problem with it is they're bumping out a bunch of fillers, which this isn't about that. We will get to that. The main one is fantastic, but this is coming off of one of the fillers, and it's kind of opening up the floodgates for Beta Ray Bill to be its own standout character, which still tying into what's happening in the Marvel universe.
I'm happy to see that. Yeah, like I'm really happy to see that. I didn't really need to. They go into the King Black, but it wasn't like the central part of the story. Right. I didn't need to have read all that. I know. Oh, it's happening in the background, and this creature is obvious. Foom is basically coming because he's part of the King's Black Legion. I don't know what the story is there, but.
Don't care.
I think that's exactly. one of the props that I want to give to the King in Black, the way that they're handling this whole arc, is that they give you a lot of material, but you don't have to read it.
Yeah.
Like they've done such a great job to just kind of do one-offs or whatever little spin-offs, but the main continuous storyline always feels congruent, and this is a prime example to where you can touch on what's going on here, but still have this congruent story that kind of gives you feelings of it. But it's pretty much just used as a, hey, look, this is where this is placed.
Yeah,
but it stands on its own.
This is a tie-in for King of Black. It's also a tie-in where what's going on with Thor recently.
Yes.
Yeah. And right away, man, this is heartbreaking because, I don't know a lot about Beta Ray Bill, but I learned a lot reading this. All right, yeah. I didn't know that. At first, I thought that was just a stupid alien race. That's what they looked like.
Hey,
when you were reading the Donny Cates run, and you saw Beta Ray with that human mask form,
yeah,
I was confused. I was like, is that Beta Ray? Where's his horse face at? And this explains it.
Yeah, it explains a lot. And, right off the bat, some real heartbreaking shit. Because of the events of what happened in Thor, Beta Ray Bill is not able to transform back to his humanoid form. That and a laundry list of other things. Seeing Thor in this light kind of makes him look like a douchebag. Like a huge douchebag.
I mean, but did you really think that Thor's life was any different?
I mean, yeah, obviously he's not. I mean, when paired up with the other Avengers, he seems like the cool guy. He seems like a cool guy.
But he's also, I mean, he looks like the cool guy with the Avengers. You also have to remember that this is their leader. When he shows up and he's all powerful,
they love him.
They literally show you bitches will throw themselves at him, and it doesn't. It wasn't
not the bitch.
Not the bitch, but he's had that before.
and just to be clear, they're only using the word bitch because they don't know her name.
All right, them females were throwing them.
Yeah. I'm kidding. That was a joke. It's a Cat Williams joke. But yeah, go on. I tried.
They did a great job of like pairing both arcs that are happening at the same time together, but still making this be a congruent storyline held on its own, which made me want to read more of it as the story went on, as we start seeing what his actual plot course is going to be.
Yeah.
I like how they painted Thor as if he really is trying, and he just doesn't understand what Beta Ray's going through. He's like, look, I need a weapon. Problem? He's like, bro, like, I gave you every weapon in Asgard. Like, what do you want from me, man?
You didn't give me my weapon.
Like, I mean, I do wonder, like, how many weapons and what are they like? Because, I mean, none of them could replace his hammer.
Right.
Like, I don't know why he thought that was... Like, he gave him the equivalent of his hammer. He didn't.
I was reading it's like, God damn it, Thor, you're fucking privileged.
Exactly.
He's like, Odin has made me a ton of weapons, okay? You have all of them. Why is that one so special?
Oh, I wonder why. Asshole.
Yeah.
You cast a long 10-inch shadow.
It's 14. He's like, it's 14.
I didn't understand why Lady Sif couldn't get over the horse face and take that horse dick.
I mean,
she has the eyes of Heimdall. She's seen many of ugly things. Shallow bitch.
Not that was kind of not that close.
I mean, and then like, come on, you no one's gonna care if you're,
I mean, if you made it that far into the room, like you kissed him, like he clearly got the juices flowing.
You kissed him in that mouth. What's the difference between
what mouth? The teeth, the fucking teeth.
I mean, he has that elongated head. I'm pretty sure that tongue goes a long way, baby.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It just takes one time for you to look up, and then you just see that fucking elongated horse face with the open mouth. Yeah.
Are you coming? I can't tell.
Yeah.
It all looks like you're coming.
Like, can you transform back, babe?
He's like, no, I can't do that. So yeah, it sets up Bill.
Oh my god.
It sets up Bill to go his own way, and that's where we're leaving off with this issue 1. Very somber for him, kind of learning his place, not by Thor, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of super interested to see what happens next. Obviously, I thought, as per usual, Dane Warren Johnson put his ankles in it as far as the artwork is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Spicer put his ankles in it as far as the color.
I was really happy with the art style. At first, I'm kind of, I guess, a bitch when it comes to new art style. When it looks a little like loose, but it fit the story so well. And then the way that he was just having the colorist fucking showed his ass off with the different colors of the fonts, and every time you would have somebody just go through a wall and the different shades just coming in. Dude, this whole book they put their fucking ass in it. They kicked it. Yeah.
And I absolutely fucking enjoyed it.
Dumbfounded.
I would completely recommend it.
I really hope, like, because Beta Ray has always been like, I mean, it's true in the story, but it's also true in general when it comes to just his character and how he's been marketed and everything. He's always been Thor's second Thor, if not just below him, below this other person. He was never able to be his own person. And I'm kind of hoping, I'm hoping he gets a weapon back or something equivalent, but I'm kind of hoping too that he kind of just grows out of just being another Thor. Like he kind of just becomes his own person. I hope this is a journey for him to actually just be his own character instead of just Thor number 2, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we'll see, but it would be nice for that to happen, for him to actually just be something else. Like be a new hero in a way.
Right. You know? I would absolutely appreciate that as well. I just want to see him make out his own lane. So
yeah,
I just want to see him break her back.
Oh my god!
In time. Okay.
She wanted it. She came to him. All right.
It's true twice. Like
she
with drinks.
With the negligee. That
right?
bitch was out in the middle.
Double fisting.
Dog, she was out there in the motherfucking ballroom with the negligee like, yo, I got these drinks.
Did you see
Pip,
that little...
Pip was like, hey, man, I like what you were doing out there. Look, I know. He's like, not now, Pip. The fuck away from me.
Get the hell away from me.
Did you see about to get this push?
All right. Speaking of putting their ankles in it, saving this one for last.
And getting some puss.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Ultramega #1.
What a fucking book.
James Harren.
I will say before we start sucking his dick, I was really held back on reading this. I don't know why it was. I saw the cover and I was like, okay, Ultraman, kaiju kind of shit. Read a few pages and I was like, oh. And I will say, I am sorry, doubting you. I am sorry for looking at the cover of the book and judging it before reading it. Go on.
It is absolutely fucking incredible. I was following this book's release for a long time. I was a huge fan of Rumble when he worked on that for Image Comics. I loved his art. Super expressive. Awesome story. I would highly recommend that as well.
That was the Scarecrow guy, right?
Yes. And then I'm hearing rumbles that he's doing one of my favorite things, like the kaiju monster thing. And I was on a big Ultraman kick, and then I saw this, and I'm like, oh shit. James Harden's doing a Ultraman-ish story. Can't wait. I had no idea that this was going to be like this. Like, I had no idea. Wow. Like, this story took, like, 2 big turns. And in between that was a lot of magical goodness. What do you guys think about this?
I really don't want to give any spoilers.
Oh, yeah. I'm not.
No.
Oh, man. Keep this one.
My eyes were glued. I could not pull myself away. And when old girl had her hands up, I was like,
oh no. My goodness.
I've never felt actual fear while reading a comic.
Pulling that nigga in.
This
it was so good.
Was the only comic I can genuinely say that I felt fear. And I felt uneasy. And it's not the fear of like a jump scare, or it's that fear of just in the bottom of your gut knowing that this darkness and this just uneasy feeling, almost nauseous like they would get. It wasn't the art style that they went out of their way to make it gory, but in a tasteful way.
Yeah.
Disgusting, but artsy. The maggots and worms and all these disgusting creatures, but drawn and made in such a beautiful way where God, man,
they had a good balance of hopefulness and hopelessness,
and knowing, and right from the get go, they kind of let you know like this is going to be kind of like you're going to want to pull for these people, but chances are that none of these people are going to be around.
And I think that's where the strength lies, because it opened up fantastic. Like, I loved how it's set up of this world. Like, he's just a guy who's just a superhero. He's like, and he was told that he was special, but he's like, I guess I'm special. I'm trying my best. And there was 2 other people who did it. You know, everyone's going their different paths. And he's just really, I like how normal he is. He's just a guy. And I just want the best for him. He has a kid. He has a wife. He's not home a lot because he's constantly, because the guy, he gets a power. He gets this power to transform into this Ultraman, basically this huge
Ava.
Yeah,
getting the mech Shinji.
Thing is, he doesn't have control over it. It's only active every time he's around someone who's infected with the kaiju disease.
Right. That may be the only gripe that I have against the book when it comes to continuity wise, but
yeah, we'll get into that. Yeah, we'll get into that.
They did mention it though. They did mention it.
Yeah.
Well, they mentioned it, but at the same time, if it doesn't activate unless they're around each other, why create the person to be around each other? Just let it play on its own.
The inclination that individual is special.
I don't want, like I said, I don't want to get into spoilers. I think this would require an entire like discussion on its own, and I would say we can do that because I don't feel like this is going to be longer than a 6.
Yeah,
if even that.
I mean, fuck it. We could just say, hey, we're gonna talk about spoilers, and then we just talk about spoilers.
I want to leave. I want to do issue that. 1.
Yeah, I want to do a whole encompasses of the story once it gets wrapped up.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's a beautiful thing that where we can take our time with it and really digest it. And I would love people to go out there and read it themselves so they can kind of understand what we're doing.
My only gripe with the book is how it ended, because you can't have that atmosphere that you built up in the first part of the book, and then in the last few pages when it's ending, it gave me the feeling that all of that is going away.
It switched tones.
Yeah,
like that was it. Made two big turns. The one, the time skip.
Yeah,
and then after the final fight, the new frontier kind of.
Yeah,
and I really 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 enjoyed like that the first arc and the second arc. And I'll get into my gripes soon, but I will say I'm gonna pick it back off what you said. Like, I felt it in my gut, like that other. I'm like, oh no, like this isn't gonna work out.
Like, I don't know why I was expecting something funny or something like I was expecting something else, but it got. It switched gears real fast. It hurt.
Someone hit that light switch.
Oh no!
Did anybody else get Beautiful Joe vibes when the first couple panels?
The little dude sitting there, I was like, absolutely.
Especially with his big ass head, it looked like Beautiful Joe.
The turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really, really awesome first book. I love the way the story makes these jumps. The result of these jumps may vary, with how certain people feel. Mm-hmm. I know we've got mixed feelings about, the ending of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think however this story continues may define what my overall feeling of it is.
Yeah,
and I'm scared of that as well.
Yeah,
all this fear,
because it can certainly go there.
From what I saw, I was like, oh, this could just go downhill very fast, and it could just take a turn for its worse. But from what I saw, the way that they handled the book and the way that they kind of made the universe and the way that they set up those characters, I have hope that they're able to keep it fresh. The one thing I think stands out about this book overall is the way that it was fresh every single page. Mm-hmm. Like it was like when I thought something was going to happen, immediately it turned on me and it gave me a backwards thing.
Yeah. And
it always kept me on my toes, which was great because it always kept me wanting to read. And it's a thick boy. It's a big issue.
It didn't feel like it
at all.
Yeah.
ran right through that mug.
And I will say, I always read my comics on my breaks at work. 15,
Same.
20, 15. And I always get through, and I could not wait to get back to break so I could finish this.
Right?
Every time I would look up, it's like, fuck, I gotta back to work. I don't want to put this down. And that is a sign of a fantastic storyteller.
I guess
Yeah.
the tension in the last issue of We Live, I felt that in this first issue.
Yeah. It's same.
Yeah.
That the tension, the physical embodiment tension that it made me feel.
Yeah, my gut
The
was
uneasiness.
twisted. My
God,
gut was
tastes
twisted
so
up
fucking good.
like now the one thing for me, like art down packed. If I'm following the book for a particular artist, yeah, obviously I'm gonna expect their isms to be all over it, and it is in full effect.
Yeah.
And I really did enjoy it. But for me, I love how they handle the concepts in their art.
Yeah.
Like the one thing for me that this book absolutely like nailed was the absolute fucking sheer destruction. Like we always see the giant like kaiju fights or whatever, but it's like when they take damage like that the way it ended, like the aftermath.
I can't wait to turn this camera off so we can talk about it.
I'm like, holy shit, that can happen. The city was covered.
Yeah, that's something you don't really, that people don't really like go into whenever they have these gigantic battles. The aftermath, and the book did a fantastic job of showing both the perspective of the actual monsters fighting, as well as the everyday people stuck in traffic jam because there's a fucking monster fighting down on Main Street.
And I love that page too. I just really liked it. Like the taxi driver was like, "You're on your own." He left her
so fast.
He left the baby in the car. He was like, "I'm out of here." He was like, "Sorry, ma'am."
What do you think? What did you guys think it sounded like? I know you gave it a voice.
God.
I know you gave it a voice. What do you think it sounded like? Did it sound like a more of like a monster, or more like a child?
I have.
I feel like it sounds like a child speaking, but there was an overlay of a deeper voice as well, like
Those
two
deep-
voices speaking at the same time.
So to me, it was like a prepubescent, not prepubescent, a kid going through puberty, kind of like breaking in and out of his voice with like a demonic voice in the background. That to me, and somehow I gave it like a little like accent too, like a little like Boston accent.
Oh my god! I gotta hear it on or off the podcast. It's up to you. But I gotta hear it.
I have to go back and read.
I know you gotta get that.
Like, yeah, I gotta warm up to it.
Honestly, it sounded to me like it kind of just sounded like a normal, like a child, like a happy, normal child, just happy to see their dad. It is like, and I think that would give it an online more creepy feeling because it's still a kid. It's like it just was really excited to see
like
the parent.
An Omen.
Yeah, like hey,
Damien type of feeling.
Oof.
I kept on trying to make it like speak in broken sentences, not complete sentences.
Yeah. I think I had.
It wouldn't know how to talk really. I mean, you wouldn't think since it's been 10 years. Okay, yeah, I know.
Close. But yeah,
good shit.
Really, really, really strong issue. It's heavy, but it is worth the wait. It is worth reading it.
You won't feel it. You won't feel the weight at all.
It is
once you start
fucking
and
breeze.
you get through once you get into the actual meat and potatoes of the story, about 4 or 5 pages in, when you start kind of getting attached to the main character and getting attached to his wife, I felt so bad for the wife, because the wife, she can't she can't complain about it.
Right, she can.
But she can complain about it.
But she chooses not. She chooses to keep
shout out because she's a fucking writer.
Yeah, like she's like, clearly. I get it, but eventually maybe you can have some time.
And the way that they drew her and the way that they drew everybody else, the art style is it's top notch.
That was the second time I felt fear watching the aftermath and her handling it. Like that was like, oh shit!
It almost got me.
Like
it almost got me.
Man.
Yeah,
just a really, really, really awesome book. We're all in agreement.
Yes,
clearly recommend.
Fantastic.
If I had one tiny gripe, and I mean tiny gripe,
no grapes.
I'm allowed to have gripes. Is sometimes to me, I wasn't sure if the lead character was like a midget. You know what I'm talking about? Like, because there are pages where it looked like his head was really big and his body was like really, really short.
They kept talking about it though.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if it was Is that because of the transformation?
Yeah, it's because of the transformation.
Okay, because I was like...
That was deliberately done. Like, even the people like, damn, bro, are you okay?
Like it's okay.
He said, yeah, it'll even itself back out later.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, wait, okay.
That wasn't my gripe at all. Like I said, my main gripe was the way that the powers worked, or the way that the transformations worked.
I guess
we'll
it scales.
discuss that.
I like how it scales.
That too. Yeah.
I guess mine which just goes along with Clarence with how the tones shift with the last bit of the story. I'm like, okay, where are we going now? Now I'm wondering, like, is it a whole new story? Because honestly, it could have just ended. It could have. If
it ended right there,
and then picked up the next book with that and kept going. That would have been cool. I didn't need you don't need the sunlight into my eyes. Like cool. Just give me the next book and let me soak in it. Let me get this au jus and sob it into my fucking dough.
Yeah, I think the problem with the way that they ended it is that now you have sort of you start making up your own, I guess, timeline of how this is going to play out instead of letting it kind of like unfold on its own. If it would have just been like a dead end and then like
full stop right there.
Yeah, instead of showing you like the aftermath of however much the time skip was or whatever.
That gospel.
Yeah.
You see that gospel.
To me, I have no problem with that because I have trust that they're going to be able to kind of work themselves out of it, and they're going to be able to, the same way that I have full trust in their writing team as far as after reading this book. Yeah. Wherever they take me, I'm willing to go right now because they were able to take me in so many twists and turns and guide me carefully without being shocking or taken away from the story. That while I'm not crazy about how it ended, I have full confidence that they're going to do something that I'm going to find enjoyable or that I'm going to be able to wrap back 360 around it.
Right. And not only that, but like there is the other thing. Although it is a bit, the ending is a bit like, it's
jarring.
Yeah. We'll say that. But I will say this. The ending also does set up a tremendous amount of potential for some huge kaiju fights.
True.
To the level of what we've seen before. I don't know. Maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, I've invested a decent amount of faith in James Heir and the team for this book, so I'm ready to see where this rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, for sure.
Bloody, clogged rabbit hole.
Yeah, one rabbit hole that you're not gonna need KY for. With that being said,
guys,
I think we're getting down to the end of our wrap up.
Yep,
I don't know if there's anything much that we can say more about this book
other than buy it.
I just wanted to put it just to put it out there, the Power Rangers Unlimited, the Heir to the Darkness.
Yeah, you read that?
Yeah, it's good.
It's good. Boom. I commend Boom for sticking to that Power Rangers train for so long. Mm-hmm. I feel like I would. Hey, that's their thing. It's cool. I didn't get a chance to read it. It looks cool though. It looks hella interesting.
I like the fact that it just feels nice for them to expand on it and everything. I mean, just to say, like, it doesn't really feel like a Power Ranger or anything. It feels like its own thing. And I'm happy they're able to just do something different. It doesn't have to always be like, the team shows up and can be, kaiju or whatever. But no, I'm interested to see what happens next. But it's really good.
Cool. I'll try and check that out.
Yeah.
Has anybody read Alien?
Yeah, I read
it. What you think about that?
I didn't like it.
I didn't get that one. I'm sorry.
I didn't either.
You didn't like it?
No, I didn't really like it. I didn't like... Okay, it's like the art style and the pace, the story itself. Like, I'm not really a fan of it.
So I liked it for what it was because it was kind of like... It's setting up something that they're trying to prove or something that they're trying to make. And I kind of liked where they were going with it.
Yeah,
I agree. The animation was the art style was a little plain, a lot of darkness, but not kind of focusing and making the darkness beautiful. There was a lot of just they were trying to put a lot of plot points in where it didn't need to.
Yeah,
I think they set up a decent enough, maybe overlaying story that it's gonna keep me kind of checking it. I want to check it because I want to see what Mama Alien looked like.
I know that, like
they had this alien humanoid.
Yeah, which I've never heard of before. So
and I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
There was touches into a couple like the movies. Like there was a couple like things where they kind of like referenced the movies a little bit here and there, and they kind of made it very ambiguous of what the story was going to be.
That was my question. This doesn't have anything to do with like Ripley or.
It's not necessarily
the same universe,
Ripley.
maybe.
Yeah, it's the same universe. So they do have the android, which was played by
the Faust, Michael Fassbender.
No. We're talking about Alien, like
aliens. The android.
Yeah, remember the android who was there and that got ripped apart.
Right.
So
Okay. Yeah.
They have that same android in there, and which when I saw it, I was like, oh shit, is this directly tied to the movie? No, but it's directly tied to the universe, which I liked, and it gave a little bit more credibility to. So again, I'm gonna check it out. It wasn't fantastic. It was no like kick down the door #1 issue.
Yeah, like I feel like this is definitely, if you already invested in the Alien franchise, you're probably gonna love this. But if you're entering it, you're probably gonna think like it's a meh kind of story. So
I completely agree with that. And like I said, I'm interested in some of the things that they kind of brought to light, and they kind of like are kind of teasing and playing with. Mm-hmm. And like I said, more than anything, I'm interested in fucking alien mama, humanoid alien mama.
Let's
see what the thickness is all about.
I've always been more of a Predator type of guy.
Oh, you haven't seen this alien?
Have you seen the film of Predators?
No,
I have.
Yeah, we all. Yeah,
I bet you have.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll show up in the Marvel comic.
Oh, one can only hope.
Yeah.
You know, maybe battle.
Maybe they'll show up in the new movie.
Let's not go too far.
Yeah.